You only get one life. And if you allow anxiety to keep holding you back, you're going to have so many regrets when you're older. You're going to just regret. And your 20s, your 30s is the best time to start living. Where are you? Social anxiety has a tendency to make us hyper-focus on ourselves. It makes us walk out in public and think that everyone is staring at us, everyone is talking about us, and everyone is judging us. When in reality, 99% of those people hasn't even noticed us. They're not even thinking about us, and they are not judging us. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lakeishaa. I make faith-based content and motivational videos, and if you're not new, then welcome back. Today we're going to be getting into a topic and a conversation about social anxiety, because I know a lot of people struggle with it and a lot of people are living with it. I am one of them. I've had social anxiety for as long as I can remember. At first I didn't know it was social anxiety, but then after numerous experiences and hearing other people's testimonies, I realized that okay, I'm dealing with social anxiety here. And I know that especially in the Christian community, it's always like frowned upon to accept these terminologies. They always say, oh, you should just rebuke it, or don't accept it, or don't speak that over your life. But the reality is there's some things that you deal with, and sometimes it can't just be dealt with by saying, oh, I rebuke it, I don't accept it, because you can avoid it all you want, but then you'll still feel the feelings and the emotions. Okay, so as much as I've rebuked anxiety, it's still here. Meaning that I need to figure out where it's coming from, what triggers it, and what I need to do to work through it. And what I realized was majority of my anxiety and my social anxiety came from insecurities. Because I was insecure about certain things about myself, when I was in social settings, I always thought that people were focusing on those insecurities. Like, say for example, I used to be really insecure about my body. So when I went in public, I'm thinking everybody's staring at my flat ass. And in reality, no one is talking about my flat ass. No one's noticing. No one cares. And I used to be really insecure about myself. I used to think that they were focusing on my flaws, or what I deem to be flaws, and my insecurities. And so I try and break away from the conversation. I try and just get away to avoid feeling so uncomfortable. You know, I used to feel as though people were just staring at me and judging me, when in reality, I was judging myself. So I realized that my anxiety and my social anxiety came from what I really thought about myself, and I thought other people were agreeing with me, even though it was never ever said. And the thing about it is, you need to realize that majority of the time, what you think other people think of you is genuinely what you think of yourself. So the moment you start working on your own insecurities, working on building your own self-love, your own self-confidence, you will realize that the anxiety, which is triggered by insecurities, is less heightened in certain situations. And the reality is, these are the thoughts that you're thinking about yourself, but you're projecting it onto others. I know most of my anxiety comes from me projecting my own thoughts about myself onto others, me thinking that they're thinking the same thing as me. And the way I've worked through that is taking myself through exposure therapy. I expose myself to certain surroundings, certain situations that would trigger my anxiety in order to work through my anxiety. Going out by myself has always brought me anxiety, because especially when I go to like shopping centers or crowded places, I always think that people are hyper focusing on me, and no one is. But because I'm so self-conscious and I feel awkward, and I just think so much and I overthink, I try and go public places more often by myself in order to combat that anxiety, because the more I do it, the less anxious I feel in the moment, and for next time I'll feel way better. So the key for anxiety is, don't hide away from what gives you anxiety. Expose yourself to it more so that you deal with it more and that your subconscious clicks on, because you don't want to keep avoiding things that give you anxiety, and then one day when you can't avoid it anymore, you're just frazzled and you're just overwhelmed. You need to combat it. You need to overcome it. And the way that happens is doing daily things. You don't just throw yourself in a deep end. You do things daily. You should have a list of, okay, I'm going to do one thing today that usually scares me. And by doing that, you're training yourself to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. You know, you have to learn how to work with anxiety. You can't allow it to defeat you. Just because you may feel anxious about going to a party and you don't know anyone there, you still have to put yourself in that situation, so that even though you're in that environment and you feel very anxious and you feel very scared and alone, and you almost feel as though you're in fight or flight mode, you still are able to work through that situation despite how you feel. It's about feeling the fear and doing it anyways. That's my favorite quote. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Even though you feel so scared and so anxious, you still need to do it, because social anxiety is a thing where if you allow it, it will hold you back. It will stop you from having fun. It will stop you from living your life. It will stop you from enjoying things. It will stop you from doing things that you always wanted to do because, oh, there's no one to do it with me. Oh, I can't possibly do it by myself. If I do it by myself, I'll look like a loner, or it will be awkward, or I'll just be by myself and everyone will be making comments and stuff. You need to just do it. Have a list of 5 things that bring you anxiety, and have another list on, okay, how can I expose myself to these situations in order to work through it? Because that's the only way you're going to get through really bad anxiety, really bad social anxiety. That's how I done it. I didn't like going out in public when I was younger during rush hour. Like when it was rush hour, I didn't like to leave my house. I didn't like the attention that I used to get. I didn't like everyone staring at me. But then once I worked through my insecurities, once I worked through my own self-love issues, I realized that my anxiety was less. But I also had to expose myself to those environments. I had to go to public places. I had to go out to eat by myself. Going out to eat by myself was probably one of the biggest things that brought me anxiety. I used to think, oh my gosh, people are going to think I'm a loner. But that wasn't it. I just thought I was a loner. So the other day I took myself to Costa and I just done some editing in the coffee shop, and I thought, you know what, let me start with baby steps. So I done that and I felt really good about myself, just being out in public by myself, and I will definitely be doing it more frequently. I decided to just go out and I decided to go to a bookstore. Me going to a bookstore was not that bad, but it's like just being by myself usually brings my anxiety, so I just try and do it more often. I was in the bookstore just trying to pick up books. I was just trying to do things I enjoy. I ended up doing a barbecue by myself, which didn't turn out the greatest. I ended up doing a little bit of sunbathing. I ended up just trying to take care of myself, because you can get anxious when you feel overwhelmed with life, when you feel overwhelmed with your day. And the way I combat that, because when I feel overwhelmed, then I get anxious. So I try and wind down, I try and relax, I try and take days to take care of myself, get my mind right, focus on myself, do self-therapy. And that way, moving forward, I'm less stressed inside, I'm more calmer, and when I go into new environments, my mental health is taken care of. Because you have to ask yourself, where does my anxieties come from? Why do I feel so anxious? Because all anxiety has a root. Everything has a root. Everything started off as a seed and started growing. So you have to understand, where did my anxiety come from? Why do I feel so anxious in this situation? Why is it so hard for me to maintain eye contact? Why am I finding it so difficult to just have a one-on-one conversation without feeling hot and flustered and without wanting to escape? And you know, I found out why I feel like that. I just felt like everyone was judging me because I judged myself so harshly. I felt like everyone was going to stare at my flaws. Everyone was just going to hyper focus on me. And I just feel so anxious and I feel so like scared. I'm still going to go because I will be damned if I live this life with regrets, okay? Anxiety is not gonna come and kill me. It's not gonna come and take away the things that I want to do in life. Don't allow anxiety to stop you from doing the things you've always wanted to do. Do it. Feel the fear and do it anyways. Because you only get one life. And if you allow anxiety to keep holding you back, you're going to have so many regrets when you're older. You're going to just regret. And your 20s, your 30s is the best time to start living. Take that solo trip. Go out to eat by yourself. Go out shopping by yourself. Spend a day by yourself. Do things by yourself. Because there's not always going to be someone to hold your hand. There's not always going to be someone to hold your hand. Talk to God about your anxiety. For scripture says, cast your anxieties onto him because he cares for you. Meaning that we will have anxieties. But thank you for coming to L Talk of the Real Talk. I haven't said that in so long. If you're OG, you know about L Talk the Real Talk. I haven't even, like, saying the words feels so strange. But thank you for listening. I will see you in my next video. Bye.